the next few weeks and possibly months as I walk you through all of the frameworks, all of the blueprints, all of the methods that I've developed over the past 20 years in systemizing my own businesses, the past 6 or 7 years in coaching hundreds of clients on systemizing their businesses. And my objective of this is to walk you through our entire 6R unified operations system, which I'm going to explain exactly what that is as we go through. And also just to be able to give you a step-by-step plan for doing this. I'm going to be going into a lot of detail. I'm going to be sharing case studies. I'm going to be sharing examples and templates, and I'm going to be giving you what you need to do this by yourself. But if you do at some point as you're going through want my help to, or our help to fast track you through to get access to coaching and support, then go to our website, systems&outsourcing.com, hit the book a call link and book a chat to find out how we can support you as you implement this stuff. I'm just saying that before we crack on, but, and this is a big but, I want to give you more detail on this podcast, more value and more depth than you would ever imagine to get from a podcast. The sort of stuff you expect to get in a great book. And I'm going to break it up into logical chunks that are, or episodes that are self-contained. They're of value in their own right. They give you something to work on, something to take away, but they will also link together to form a bigger picture as we get more sophisticated as we go through. So if this is the first time you've ever listened to this podcast, I recommend you hit subscribe right now and make sure you listen to the next X number of episodes as I walk through all of the systems I've ever created. If you are a veteran Systemizer Success listener, make sure you're also subscribed, but also you should know some of the kind of content we're going to be going through because I've touched on some of this in the past. I'm now going to step it up. I'm going to put it into a nice succinct order. I'm going to go through everything from start to finish and exactly the same way that we teach it to our clients. I'm going to hopefully share with you enough detail enough detail to do this for yourself. If you're an existing client, this is going to be a massively useful resource for you to tap into and actually go through and revise the stuff that you are learning on our coaching program. Okay, with all that said, let's crack on and get started. So the first thing I want to talk about today is one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make when it comes to systems. And this is also the same as you'll see as we go through this for automation and artificial intelligence and all the rest of it. This step needs to come first. Because if you just jump in head first and try to systemize your business without thinking about really carefully, what is it that I should actually be investing my time in systemizing? Which app should I be using? What is it that we need to actually get done more of right now? Where am I getting pulled away from doing my highest value work and getting dragged into doing time-consuming, mundane, repetitive, low-value work? Unless you actually think about that, then you might be lucky, you might, guess right, or you might have a good idea. But if you can quantify it and you can actually say categorically that based on a few factors, one is how long is this actually taking me or my key members of staff on a daily basis, spread over, say, a week or a month. B, how complicated would it be to systemize or to automate based on what we already know and already have working in our company and knowledge we already have locked in? And thirdly, what is going to be the impact on our bottom line? And what value will this system, this task or this process create if we can then replicate it and get it done more efficiently and more frequently? If we know those three things, the time saved, the ease of actual systemization and the benefits or the impact on your bottom line, if you know those three things, you can be really confident that when you start going down the path of systemizing a particular process or procedure or entire system, that it's actually worth keeping at it and going through even when you hit hard obstacles along the way, which sadly you inevitably will from time to time. If on the flip side, you just wing it and just take something at random and think, oh, I think that's taking me a long time. Let's just do that. Or, oh, I don't like doing that very much anymore. I think I'm going to get rid of that. And you then start creating systems for it. And then you hit roadblocks along the way and you give up. You've wasted all of that time. Whereas if you've got something tangible, some quantifiable number, if you like, to actually hang on that the outcome of you getting that system nailed, it's much more likely that you're actually going to see it through. So if you don't do this, apologies, if you don't do this, and you do hit obstacles, you may start thinking that, this stuff doesn't work, that it's not, the value in doing it isn't there enough for me to continue. Maybe it's because I don't know how to do it. And you may, instead of seeking out guidance and maybe listen to some more podcast episodes on here, or finding a coach to help you do this, you may just start thinking, oh, systems don't work in my business. I can't outsource or delegate this work. It's too complicated. My business is not different to other people's. My business needs me. My clients want me. Clients want results. And you've got to realize that actually, if you as your business can get your client the result that they want, they don't care if it's you or not giving them your time. Your ego might believe it is. And I had to get over this myself, that I believe that, my clients needed me. They don't. My clients need results for their business. If you can change their bottom line for the better, then they will happily pay your company, not necessarily you, to help them do it. So once you're confident that the systems that you are going at to actually improve, to automate, and to delegate are the right ones, then, and you've got the confidence to know that actually it doesn't need to be you that's helping your clients do the work, as long as the work gets done to a high standard, then we're ready to actually crack on. So one of the people I met along the way, just to sort of fill in a bit of a case study, one of the people I met along the way who was stuck in this sort of cycle of, they were a professional worker, they were actually a doctor, a guy called Dr. Sandeep Sengera, and he worked as a dental medical expert witness, and he then started training other people, other doctors, to be medical experts. And he was fantastic at what he did. A really intelligent guy, switched on guy, into systems, but wasn't really focusing on the right things first. And we taught him this system. I taught him this process, which I'm going to share with you now. And that allowed him to really be selective about where he started with outsourcing the tasks that he's doing. And he's now gone on to scale his business. Last time I spoke to him, he's got over 60 doctors working under his practice. And he was able to do that because he freed his time first. And once he'd freed his time, his mindset shifted. He suddenly realized that it wasn't necessary for him to be at any stage, be at any part of his business, that he could actually exponentially grow his business by removing himself from every part of it. And he did that by step by step looking at what's next, rather than getting totally bogged down at the beginning, picking something that was overwhelming and giving up, which so many people do when it comes to systems or automation or anything new in your business. So if you go through this very simple process of creating what I call the personal systemization plan, it will allow you to be confident as you're going into something. So I mentioned the elements that you need to actually nail this. You need to know how long it's taking you. Simple ways to do this are to use an app like Toggl or Harvest, one of these time tracking apps. Or the way I do it is to actually just use a spreadsheet and write down what it is that I'm doing and how long is it taking me. And every time I do that task, I just add, a new entry into the spreadsheet, 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 20 minutes there, and just make sure that if every time I do the same task, I stick it on the same row. And so I can see over the course of a week or a month exactly how long it's taken. If you're using an app like Toggl or Harvest or whatever, the Time Doctor, whatever you're using, then it'll automatically capture all that for you. And so once you've got that, you now know how long each and every task you're doing is taking you. And that in its own right, just doing that and actually tracking your time is a massively game-changing thing. It can really change the way you view the value of your time. You suddenly realize how much time you're wasting doing stuff that maybe you shouldn't be doing. And it makes every task you do more focused, because suddenly you're actually quantifying how long it's taking you. There's no hiding behind the numbers, or hiding from the numbers, I should say, because you can't just say, oh, today's been a slow day today. You've got it there. You know exactly how long you spent procrastinating, exactly how long you spent doing every task, exactly how long you spent making that cup of coffee and then getting into a chat, or maybe jumping on the phone, or whatever it is that you're doing when you should have been working, and you can't hide from the numbers, as I said. So it's a really, really powerful exercise in its own right. But where it really comes into its own is when you use this to create your personal systemization plan, and that is to rack up in order. How long does everything take you? How long are you spending on all these tasks? And really important is to think about, okay, based on what you know right now, And if you're listening to this today, whatever day of the week it is for you, whatever month of the year, whatever date, I mean today. So based on what you know today, how easy would it be for me to actually get someone else to help me do this? And there's going to be at the beginning, the majority of stuff probably, if you haven't delegated work before or you've never created systems, people just do it because they knew what to do when they arrived. If you're delegating work that you're currently holding on to for whatever reason, you may find this quite a difficult exercise. You may find that actually there's not a lot on there that you feel confident that you could actually know relatively easily how to get someone else to do it. As we go through the coming episodes on the podcast, I'm going to be sharing with you some tricks and the techniques I teach to our clients in order for you to know how to do this more effectively. But fundamentally speaking, right now, you've got to know what you know. And there's no point in waiting until you think you have all the knowledge. Practice is how you improve in delegation. It's how you improve in systems creation. So you've got to start somewhere. So just rank them in the ease of what you could do right now. And that may be you just have one or two things you think, you know what, I'm confident enough of delegating that. And everything else just seems like too much. And that's fine. You only need one to get started. The next thing you want to know is, out of those things which you actually feel you could find someone to do, you could delegate them, you have that in you right now, then which one would impact your bottom line most, or which one would make the biggest personal impact to you as an individual or actually just as a business? Once you know those things, you are then confident that the thing you've chosen is within your capabilities to systemize to your best knowledge. It is something that takes you a relatively long amount of time to do each month, and it's going to positively impact your bottom line or yourself personally massively. You've now got the evidence you need to know that if I do this, I'm going to save this amount of time. Even potentially, if you can work out what the effect on bottom line would be, that would be fantastic. But also that you, as I said, you've got confidence to do it. So now you're ready. You've got your first task nailed to know this is the thing that I'm going to invest time in and it's worthwhile doing. That is what we call the personal systemization plan. And this is a process that you're going to repeat time and time and time again. As you really get into this, you'll find you actually have less individual tasks that you're doing, and you're more going to be looking at management. You're going to be looking at processes and say, okay, now I'm spending all my time managing people. Isn't that a good thing? I'm not doing anything more. I've raised myself up. Great. Well, now we're going to, when we get there, we're going to start systemizing the management to remove yourself on that as well. And then when you get to the next level and the next level, we're going to be talking about how you actually create systems all the way through. And that's why it's a core skill. And people skip it because it's a bit boring and it's not, see anything tangible immediately. And you've got to record your time, and that's a pain in the bum. And I get it. But it's also absolutely essential to have this mindset. And not just you, but your key staff as well. Because your key staff are, I guarantee you, if you're not fully systemized, they will be doing lower value work than the value that you pay them. And what we need to be able to do is for them to realize, what are they currently doing that they could delegate down so they can elevate themselves up and earn more money for you as a business. People delegate down to elevate up. It's a great expression in order to actually to get the most value from everyone in your business. And you've got to do it that way around. You can't elevate to delegate. You've got to delegate to elevate, because you need to free up time and capacity in someone's diary for them to be able to take on a new role and do it to the best of their ability. And to do that, they need to record. And we're going to go through this process in detail. They need to know exactly what it is that they can offload using the personal systemization plan process, delegate that down to allow them to have free time to elevate up. On that note, I'm going to say thank you very much. That is this first step in our journey. I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be a multiple episode, many multiple episodes I can see coming out of this. I'm going to spin off and talk about different concepts, and we'll talk about different case studies. I'm looking forward to this. So yeah, please join me on this ride. It's going to be good. If you like the sound of this, please do hit subscribe and make sure that you share this, comment, and please leave us a review on your favorite podcast app, as it makes the world of difference to us getting out in front of more people. Thank you very much indeed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.